From United Nations Television, this is UN in Action.
After a long and bitterly cold winter, spring arrives in the Pamir-Alai mountains, renewing its pastures. At this time of year, the village women and children are normally busy, tending their animals and taking them to graze in nearby pastures. But not the people around the village of Jirgatol. This year, they are experimenting with a new approach. All their animals are taken to pastures some 12 kilometers away. The herd stays in newly built stables that protect them from the cold spring rain at a time when the newborn lambs are most vulnerable. Here, a small team of herders takes care of the animals in spring. When summer arrives, the herd will travel to graze in distant pastures before returning again in autumn. The construction of the stables was part of a sustainable land management project supported by the UN University, UNU, the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, and the Global Environment Facility. Nevelina Pechova is a researcher from UNU.
In Jirgatol, the key issue has turned out to be access to pastures. Degradation of pastures surrounding the settlement areas has been a key problem.
It was clear to the project team that keeping the animals near the village during springtime had led to overgrazing of the young grasses on the accessible pastures, leaving bare land exposed to erosion by rains and wind.
Construction of stables, which can host livestock earlier in their season outside the villages, is helping to reduce pressure on those surrounding pastures, surrounding the villages.
Local women like Miley Hanyarova embrace this approach as it relieves them from the drudgery of tending their animals.
It's wonderful that the stables were built, as this means we have fewer chores.
Village women now have time to process wool and sew clothes. The work provides an additional source of income and keeps a traditional craft alive.
From ancient times, we have learned how to produce the felt cloths from our great-grandmothers, grandmothers and mothers. I'm now showing the younger generation how to do it so they can learn.
As summer arrives, villagers are leaving to set up camp in the distant summer pastures. This time, Mullah Murad and his neighbors are traveling by truck on a recently improved road.
Things have been changing here and a lot of people are traveling to the summer pastures. The road is wide so the villagers can safely transport their belongings without hitting stones.
The improvement of the road, which is also part of the UNU and UNEP project, has enabled people to leave earlier in the season, giving the fields around the village a longer time to regenerate. Herders also welcome the improved safety as the road allows them to reach healthcare facilities more quickly in case of emergencies. While the road brought considerable benefits to the community, it also has had some unintended consequences. It has made it easier for people to come and harvest firewood and take it back in their vehicles. The community took action to remedy the situation.
Although we need to transport coal and other important things, we didn't want to destroy nature. Because the vegetation was disappearing, we decided to limit the length of the road.
That's why the road ends here. It was built only halfway to the summer pastures. From this point on, people must walk and carry their belongings on animals for several hours. Beyond improving their own living conditions, villagers are also committed to safeguard their fragile environment that has sustained their lives for centuries. This report was produced by Luis Patron for the United Nations.